So once again, very good morning, everyone. We have with us Dr. Kinda Ganaswamy, who is an assistant professor in the Department of Electronics and Information Engineering, RV College of Engineering, Bengaluru. Completed his PhD, MTech, and BE from VCU. 10 years of teaching experience and 3 years of industrial experience in semiconductor domain. 2 national level patents, 13 international journals, and 11 international conference papers. He has a product development for a design and developed an automatic sanitizer dispenser during COVID-19 situation. Conducted more than 17 workshops in blended learning to enrich teaching learning process across 1,000 plus engineering faculties. Expertise in the field of VLSI, sensors, and embedded system design. He has 2 funded projects funded by RSSC and BWSSC, whose work is purely based on sensors and IoT-based system development. Coming to his honors and awards, Best Young Teacher Award, IST RVCE Chapter 2019. He has also been felicitated as an Appreciation Award on Patent Publication 2018, RSSC, and one more patent publication from RSSC 2017. It's indeed our pleasure to have you, sir, for this as a resource person for this expert talk for the OBE FDP. So I now hand over this platform to you. Please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. So now I will share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning one and all. So today we will discuss about how to measure the performance and professional activities of students using the matrix provided by the NBA. Because this criteria 4 is very, very important. If your criteria 4 is not succeeded in any of the NBA, so then they will think that you are not in the race, because the criteria 4 is very, very important, because entire education system is completely stands on the student performance, right? Because they are our customers. If the student performance only not good, then what is the benefit of doing other things? So in that contrast, we should work more and we should learn many things with respect to the student performance with respect to NBA activities. So the firstly, I will say we will discuss what are all the contents we are going to be dealing with in this 1.5 hours. The beginning, I will talk about the enrollment as nothing but of there we required an information for the 3 complete academic years about the sanctioned intake and corresponding admission in the program for the last 3 years. This is basically called the enrollment. And nextly, we are discussing the success rate with and without backlogs in the stipulated period, and the academic performance of the 2nd and the 3rd year. And we are discussing about the placement, higher studies, and the professional activities, which are all important with respect to the criteria 4. In this presentation, I'm using some the short forms like CAY is nothing but of current academic year, that is the newly admitted students. Then CAYM1, that is nothing but of current academic year -1, I mean the 2nd year students we are talking about. Then the CAYM2 is nothing but of current academic year -2, is nothing but of the the third year students, then the M3 is the fourth year students. Similarly, where and all I'm using LYG is nothing but of last year graduated minus one. That is only the last year graduated, not minus one. The next one is LYG M1 is the last year graduated minus one. Only the LYG means the recently passed out students. LYG M1 means the last to last year passed out students. Similarly, LYG M2 is nothing but of last year graduated minus 2. So now let us discuss about how they are going to be distributing the marks with respect to the criteria 4. The criteria 4 is the student performance, and it is for 150 marks weightage. This is for tier 2 colleges, but if we consider tier 1 colleges, the student and performance, the weightage will be 100 marks. Remember that. Only for tier 2 colleges, the marks weightage is 150 with respect to the student performance. Similarly, if we see the subdivision of this criteria 4, there are many subdivision. The first one is the enrollment ratio. So that one evaluated for 20 marks. Then 4.2 is the success rate in stipulated period of the program. Again, this is for 40 marks. Again, this 40 marks, they are splitting into two. One is for 25, another one is 15. So 4.2.1 is the success rate without backlog in any semester or year of study. That is for 25 marks. Then next one is the 4.2.2 is the success rate in stipulated period of study. That is again 15 marks. The cumulatively it is 40 marks. Okay. Next is the 4.3. 4.3 is the academic performance in third year. That is for 15 marks. 4.4 is the academic performance in the fourth year. That is the 15 marks. The next is the placement and higher studies and the entrepreneurship. That is for the 40 marks. Then 4.6 is the professional activities for 20 marks. Then again, it is subdivided into three categories. That is the professional society chapters and organizing engineering events. That is 5 marks, and the publication of technical magazines and the newsletter is 5 marks, and the participation in inter-institution events by the students of the program of study is for 10 marks. First, we will discuss about what is student enrollment ratio, and the weightage for the student enrollment ratio is 20 marks. Okay, here the student enrollment ratio, it is based on the sanction intake, one which pertaining to the program. Okay, see here, if the admission is more than 90% with respect to the sanction intake of that particular year, if it is 90% equal to or greater than, then you will get 20 marks. Suppose if it is between 80 and 90, then you will get 18 marks. Similarly, 70 to 80 is 16 marks. 60 to 70, 14 marks, and between 50 and 60 is for 12 marks. If your enrollment ratio with respect to the sanction intake, if the enrollment ratio or the admitted student is less than 50%, then you will get 0 marks. That is very, very important. Then whatever the right-hand side table shows that how we need to place the data of the student. So the left-hand side, which are all the items we required. Okay, the right-hand side with respect to the current academic year -1, current academic year -2. So now I will take one example. With respect to the example, it is very easy to tell. See, if you see that the sanction intake of that particular year for the first year is 60 students. This is the sanction intake of the program that says N is 60. Okay. Then the next column says that total number of, so next row, the total number of students admitted in the first year minus the number of students they migrated to the other program. Means you all know that during the second year, they have a permission to do the branch change, right? So there may be a chance some of the students may migrate from your department to the other department, or some other department students may come to your department. Okay, so here wherever I'm using the dollar symbol indicates students left from the department. Wherever I'm using at is nothing but of they are coming into your department. So that's why I'm using at the rate. That says the students entering to the department from other department. Okay. See, star says the supernumerary quota that we will see that is there in the fourth row. See, if you see, this example I will take. Why? Because this is the current academic year, means here we are not mentioned the diploma students. If I take the last year, here we have an lateral entry students. Here there are sanctioned intake students. There were first year students 60. Out of 60 students, 5 students were taken branch change from our department to they went to other department, plus 2 students were entered to our department, that is the 2. It's cumulatively 57 students. They are entered to the second year only for those who are admitted in the first year. Again, in the first year, we all know that there is a supernumerary quota. In our Karnataka, we have a supernumerary quota. There are 3 students they will take, along with that 60 plus 3, it is totally 63 in the first year admission. And there are number of students admitted in second year in the same batch, while the lateral entry students is nothing but of the diploma students, there were around 06. So in order to know the total number of students admitted for the program is the cumulative of N1 plus N2 plus N3. Clear? See, N1 is nothing but of the number of students are returning to the department after doing all the branch change out and in, as well as supernumerary quota, as well as the lateral entry students. It is all in a total 66. And this is the current academic year. In this current academic year, we don't have any diploma students because diploma students will come in second year. So that's why we haven't mentioned here. So we have mentioned only the number of students right now. There are only 60 students in first year. There is no branch change. So that's why completely 60. And 3 is the supernumerary quota, totally 63. But once we go to the second column, here if you see that the sanction intake is 60 plus 3 is 63. The star indicates supernumerary quota 63. So, but these supernumerary quota students, they don't have provision to do the change of branch. Okay, totally 60 plus 3, 63. And after doing all the branch changes and all, 57 plus 3 is the 60 and plus 6, totally 66 students were there in that particular department. So this is the subsequent years. This is right now they are in the third year and they are in the fourth year. See, this table is very, very important. If this table is perfect, then everything will be the perfect in with respect to the criteria 4. See, even though the evaluation committee, first they will see this table. Based on this table, they are going to be comparing all other sub-criteria of the criteria 4, subsection of the criteria 4. They are going to be comparing all this, your table 1 with respect to this. See, if you see the 63, 66, 64, this has to be matched with this one, right? Similarly, based on this table, they are going to be comparing the second year performance, third year performance, as well as number of students were successfully completed the program with backlog. These many students were taken convocation. These many students details were there in the 7 year also, right? So this table is pretty important. And if this data and that data, if it is mismatched, definitely they may think that there may be some wrong went in the calculation process, and definitely they will ask you to redo once again during the evaluation time. Okay, so before sending any data to the accreditation board, you have to test, you have to check twice or thrice. Okay, as I said, if this table shows that if you see this current academic year 2021, there were 60 students right now, and they have not yet completed first year. So that's why we haven't put anything. When we are talking about first year, we need to consider only N1 plus N3 because there is no N2, correct? No, because only we have N1 plus N3 because no lateral students. So that's why in the first year we have mentioned N1 plus N3. But when it goes to second year, there we are considering N1, N2, and N3. So that's why the data get changed. Don't think that why this number is lesser than this. Don't think like that. Why? Because here we are considering only N1 plus N2. And this is the second year. From second year onwards, we are getting the actual student count. N1 plus N2 plus N3. And one more thing you should remember, here, whichever the academic year we will take, right? So that USN should be whichever the students we are considering that particular academic year, all the students USN year should be same. If I take 1 RV 20 EI 14, 15, so that 1 RV 20 should be common for all the students, and only those students you need to consider for the calculation. You are not supposed to take if some year back students in that particular academic year. Okay, so only that particular academic year students only you supposed to consider. You are not supposed to consider the previous year students or the year back students for any of these calculations. Okay, suppose if I take 1920 batch, means I need to consider for this calculation only that 1920 batch students only, not the year back students. Similarly, if you see that after doing all the N1 plus N1 plus N2 plus N3, we are getting 64. That's what we discussed here also, right? And here 64, here 59 means here successfully graduated only 59 students out of 63 students, because N1 plus N3 means 60 plus 3 is 63. Out of it, successfully completed only 59 students. After that, there are many students going to be migrating, branching, that and all. So after that, we are getting 64 students were appearing the second year, but out of which second year cleared only the 59 students. Okay, maybe they're having with block log and without backlogs and all. So there were around 59 students were successfully completed the second year. Similarly, this is the third year. So the 17, 18 joint students where only 50 students were completed successfully, and right now they are in the fourth year. So this is the three batch of students, the passed out data. So this is very, very important. They are going to be matching this data with your 7-year or the convocation information. So this has to be matched with that. That is the proof for this. Convocation is the better proof for this data, 47, 48, and 52, the students who are successfully graduated. So that is all about the enrollment ratio. These two tables are the table is related to the enrollment, and this is the academic performance table for all the years we are placing, and we are consolidating in the one table. The next is the success rate without backlogs in any semester or year of the study. This is very, very important. See why? Because the success rate without backlogs in any semester or year of the students, without backlog means no compartment or the failures in any semester or year of study. They shouldn't fail even a single subject in their 4 years of tenure. That information we need to place over here. So then how to calculate the success index for that particular session? In this section, what we need to do is we need to consider the number of students who have graduated from the program without backlog. Okay, this is what the number of students who have graduated from the program without backlogs means. They shouldn't have even a single F grade in their 4-year tenure. Then we need to divide that by the number of students admitted in the first year of batch. That is very that batch, and they admitted in the second year via the lateral, And the separate division if applicable. Separate division if applicable means change students, branch out and branch students also we need to consider. That says that N1 plus N2 plus N3 is the denominator. The numerator is the number graduated from the program without backlogs, means in their 4-year tenure, they are not supposed to take even a single F grade, okay, in that 4 years of the tenure or the any of the semester. They are not supposed to take any F grade in any of the subjects. So then what is that average SI, success index? They mean the success index for the past 3-year batches. This is the table we need to fill out. Here the number of students admitted in the corresponding first year plus second year via the lateral entry, and the separate division then the number of students who have graduated without backlog in the stipulated period. That number we need to place. Then if we divided by this number with this number, we are getting this success index. Okay, all these three number and divide the average SI. So the average we divided into two parts. One is with backlog, another one is without backlog. Without backlog is evaluated for the 25 marks, right? Now we will see the example. If you see in this example, the number of students who are admitted in the corresponding first year plus admitted in second year via the lateral entry and separate division if applicable, there were 67 students were admitted. See, this is the last year graduated. This is very, very important. The last year graduated 60-20 batch. See, there were 67 students were admitted, out of which only 24 students were clear their graduation without any F grade in their 4 years of tenure. Then the success index will be 0.3582. Okay, this 67 and 24, the committee people are going to be matching with the previous table. If you see this previous table, see, this is the table. This is the current academic year info, means 16-20 pass out students. They admitted during the 16-17 batch. See, there were N1 plus N2 plus N3. There were 67 number of students were admitted, and there were only 24 students were graduated without any backlog, but with backlog there are 47. So now what we need to do, how to do the calculation of this? There were around 67 students. Without any backlog, there are only 24 students were cleared, but with backlog, there were around 47 students were cleared, right? Now we will see that how to do this calculation. See, if you want to do such calculation, you need to maintain a separate Excel sheet for this calculation. See, one thing I will tell you all, as and when that particular batch goes out of the institution, try to make this Excel sheet then and there itself. See here, based on the result sheet, we have made this Excel sheet. See, if you number, this is the 16 join 20, they all are 16 only. But only diploma students were second year, right? There he was 20. Okay, so we are only that academic year students for the calculation. That's what I told initially also. In this, if you see that this particular student has failed in, if the student failed one subject also, we won't consider for the final count. And even if you take this student, second student, this student may failed in one subject in first semester. So that's why we straight away placed F grade. I mean, he taken one F grade in that particular semester for that particular subject. So that's why we are not considering this student for the final count. That means without backlog. Similarly, if I go like that, see, some of the students here I have mentioned as not eligible. Not eligible means they got year back. So that's why I'm dropping these students also. And these students, we won't consider for the final graduation also, correct? They go to the their juniors group. So that's why we are not considering these non-eligible students for the grad process. So here, whichever the rows not containing it's only those students haven't failed any of the subject in that 4-year tenure. Okay, so after doing all this calculation, then the success graduated without any black is 24,000. Sorry, 24 numbers, and also the number 47. Okay, and at the same time, the committee member definitely they will ask how many number of students where information also you need to place over here. Okay, which are all the universities number that you need Excel sheet. And for this, the proof you need to showcase is result sheet. To maintain the separate file for that, and all the result sheets you need to place in that particular file only. Then it is very easy to showcase. Randomly, they may ask any of the student, and they will ask you to show that if the student is cleared in all the subject in first attempt itself, and they will cross verify through the result sheet based on the Excel sheet one which you created. Okay, so this is how to calculate the successfully graduated students without any backlog is only the 24. Okay, successfully graduated with backlog is only the 47. This 47 number they will cross verify with the conjugation Savier. Okay, so this is the 24, and one more, the 47 I showed, right? This is what the number. In the one Excel sheet itself, you can showcase both things. Okay, so this is the success rate without backlogs in any semester or year of study. Always this number is very, very less in many of the Tier 1 institutions. The second one under the success rate is the success rate in stipulated period of study. This says is yet. In that period, they may fail in any of the subject, but they should clear that subject in a subsequent semester. But within the 4 year, they should clear all the subject, but they may fail in between, but they are going to be clearing in the subsequent semesters. Again, in order to calculate this, again, the success index calculates who graduated from the program in the stipulated period of the course duration, and that is divided by the number of students who are admitted in the first year of that batch. That is very, very important, first year of that batch, and actual admitted in the second year via the lateral entry, and separate division if applicable means the branch change. Again, here also we are calculating the average essay is the mean of success index for past 3-year batches. That 3-year batches we need to add and divided by 3. And again, the success rate we are always calculating. Again, this is for 15 marks, right? So 15 into average essay, if you do, see before committee only, you will get to know that how much marks you will get. So that is easy way of calculating. Even in the previous also, if they are giving for 25 marks means it is very easy. 25 into whatever the average you are getting here. If you do that, automatically you will get to know that how much marks you will get. So no need to wait for the NBA committee. Also, you can say that whether you will clear that criteria or not by doing such calculations. And suppose in this case, with respect to 4.2.1, 4.2.22, if you get 100%, all the students were cleared without any backlogs, or it is very rare cases, correct? No, in the Tier 2 and even in Tier 1 also, they can't able to achieve this because all the student can't able to clear all the subject in the first attempt itself. Obviously, there may be a chances of 4.2.2 may be the 100% result you may get. But with respect to 4.2.1, in this table, it is quite difficult. All 67 out of 67 we're going to be clearing without failing any of the subject in the 4 year of tenure. But there may be a chances of this 4.2.2. There may be a chance all the students were going to be clearing the subject in in the stipulated period, but that also very rare case. If suppose if both the cases there were all the students were clear without any backlogs, means straight away they will get 40 marks. So this is the 4.22. This is the calculation. Here, as I showed earlier table, there were 67 students were enrolled. That is the last year graduated student. That is 60-20 joint students, 16 batch. So there 67 students were admitted. There 47 students were successfully graduated. Another 20 students, as I shown in the previous Excel sheet, there may be some non-eligible student. They may got year back because they are not maintaining the vertical progression properly. I thought you all know that what is vertical progression, correct? So they should maintain that. If not, they will get the they won't get the eligibility for the subsequent semesters. So this is with respect to this table. If you see that they have backlog, but they clear all the subject, but within the 4 year, but they failed in maybe one or more than one subject in that particular 4 years. But finally, they graduated with during the convocation time. So this is the number should matches with the convocation 7 year. 7 year is the proof for this number. Okay, they will see the 7 year and they are going to be cross-checking with all this USN number whether it is matching or not, and they are going to be counting this. This is the last academic year -1. This is the 15 batch students and they are 19 pass out. And the last this is the LYG M2 is the 14 2014 they are going to be joining, and the 18 they are going to be passing out. So there were 66 students were joined, only out of which 42 students were cleared. And compared to these 2 years, this will be gives the better result. This is called a success index. So then how to calculate the average success index means we need to add all these 3 success index, this one, 16 batch, 15 batch, and 14 batch. If we add all the things and divide by 3, you will get the average. This is the number. And this number, if you multiply with 15, then you will get the proper success rate of that. Okay. The next, we are going to be discussing about the academic performance in 3rd year. So what is academic performance in 3rd year? Academic performance in 3rd year is nothing better. How many number of students were cleared successfully and were promoting successfully from 3rd year to 4th year? The academic performance which always be equal to academic performance index. So how to calculate that average academic performance index is based on the mean of grade point average, that is the GPA of all successful students in a 10-point scale. If it is an autonomous, or you can go like the means of percentage of marks of all successful students in the 3rd year by 10 into the number of successful students, or the number of students they appeared in the examination. Okay, so that I will show with an example. If you see, this is the example. Those who students were cleared successfully 3rd year. Here the academic performance mean of CGPA or mean percentage of all successful students were the X. Okay, so how to calculate this X? How that calculation I will show you here. What you need to do is you need to take the result sheet of the 3rd year is nothing but of 6th semester. 6th semester result you need to take. So there you need to place all the successful cleared eligible students GPA over here. All the CGPA you need to place one by one. Then you need to take an average. So then you will get, see the automatically in the Excel sheet, if you put average you will get, or you need total all this number and divided by 51, you will get the total average students. Okay, that is the average of the CGPA of that particular, getting the average. After adding this divided by 52, you will get that. So then the successful means only we need to divide with that. So then what is this 51? The total number of the successful student is the only 51. See here. but total number of student appear examination, the second year or the sixth semester, the second year, third year, from second year to third year, there were around 50 students entered. But only 51 students were successfully cleared the third year. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to leave one student here, because that student we are not supposed to consider here. We need to consider only the successfully cleared third year students. So that's why here I have taken only 51 students. So again, I should take the average for only 51 students. This is the average I'm getting. Then what I need to do is, then I need to do this 51 divided by 52. That is what the calculation it says, right? 51 divided number of students were cleared divided by the total number of students attempted into 7.27. If you do, then we will get the average API. Is this clear? We need to do 51 divided by 52 into 7.27. Then we are getting the API. That is 7.13. See, this is what. So what it says, see here. See, API is equal to X into Y by Z. Which one is the Y? See, this is what we see in right now, right? This is the example I have shown you all. There were total number of students appear in the examination is 52. The total number of successful students were 51. If I do, see, that is Y by Z. Y means what? The number of students successfully created. That is Y divided by number of students were appeared for the third year is 52. That is 51 by 52 into X. What is this X? This is the mean of CGPA. That is 7.27. If you do this calculation, we are getting API, that is 7.13. So then how to get the average API? Average API is, we need to add all these three and divided by 3, then we are getting 7.593. Okay, so then if you do that, success calculation will be 15 into this average API. If you do, you will get how much marks you will get in that particular the NBA accreditation. You will get to know that well in advance. The next is the academic performance in second year. And one more thing you should remember, this time NBA team visited in our campus, and even they asked for the first year academic performance also. We calculated that. But you all, I will tell you that well in advance, you're supposed to do that. They calculate the even first year academic performance also. In this case, here, if you take again, how many students were successfully completed the second year, and they are moving to the third year. Okay, here also the calculation I will show with an example. Here also we need to consider their second year successful completion, means the fourth semester result sheet we need to take. So there they are going to be mentioning the CGPA of all the students. Okay, if I click that, I will show you one academic year performance. See, this is the second year performance of that 18-22 batch. Okay, so there in their second year CGPA I need to take. Second year means that is the fourth semester result sheet I need to take. There they are going to be mentioning all the CGPAs. I need to take all. These are all the students were successfully graduated from second year to third year, and there were around the 60 students were appear the examination, but only 59 students were successfully completed. From second year to third year, successfully only 59 students were entered out of 60 students. Again, here also the calculation will be the same. We need to take first average of all the 59 students. Then we need to divide 59 by 60 into, we need to do 7.566. Then we are getting the API. Okay, so then after adding all the 3 years API, okay, again here also formula will be same, Y by Z into X, that is the API. If we add all the 3 academic years, the APIs, and divided by 3, and we are getting the average API number over here. Okay, so like that, you need to maintain separate file for each and every academic year. Here I have shown only one example. So like that, you can show the same thing for all the academic years data one which you have placed in that particular table. And don't forget to take the signature of HODs, whichever the document one which you are preparing. The next is the placement in higher studies and entrepreneurship. This is pretty important. See, this database is required not even for NBA, even for other agencies also, this is more essential. As soon as they entered your program, definitely they will ask first is how many students got the placement. Because ultimate goal in any of the engineering education is the placement. If not, higher studies. If not, they become an entrepreneurship. The entrepreneur means this is pretty good because we need to encourage the students to become an entrepreneur. Again, this section is evaluated for 40 marks. So here, this is the table, how to do the calculation. In this calculation, you should remember the total number of final year students. Total number of final year students means here also we should consider only that academic year students, not the year back students. Again, total number of final year students of that particular academic year, not for the previous batches, okay, or the year back students. And here also X, we need to the number of students placed in the companies or the government sector. The next is the number of students admitted to higher studies with valid qualifying scores like GATE, or the equivalent state or the national level test, GRE, GMAT, etc. That says Y. And the number of students turned entrepreneur in engineering and technology. See here, very, very important. There are many entrepreneurs, but they must be entrepreneur in engineering or the technology. Clear? See, they may have many other businesses, their family businesses, but we are not supposed to mention all those things. If the student become an entrepreneur should be in the engineering or the technology, then only we must supposed to place the number over here. That is very, very important. Then here, one more thing you should remember that if you place the students there, if you think there were around 60 students, final year, in that 60 students, if all the 60 students were placed and 10 students go for higher studies, then what you need to do here, you should mention only 50 and another 10 student you should mention here. If you show here also 60, here also 10, then that number become more than this number here. Suppose here you have a 60, here you mention 60, here 10 means it could be more than this. So that's why what you need to do, you should confirm with the students whether they are going for the placement or they are going to be higher studies. That time you need to separate them separately. At that time you need to mention here 50, then here you need to mention 10, then become the 60. Similarly, entrepreneur also, if the one entrepreneur comes out of that particular batch, then what you need to do here, you need to mention for 50 students are going for the placement and 9 students are going for higher studies, 1 student is going for the entrepreneur. So all in a total, X plus Y plus Z become the 60. Okay, so then how to calculate the placement index? Placement index is just X plus Y plus Z divided by N. You will get that particular year placement index. Then after adding all the 3 and divided by 3, you will get the average placement. That is very, very important. And in this case, for example, the proof of a placement is not in terms of offer letter. That you should remember that. They will ask the evidence of students joining the organization must be available with the institution or the department, right? Sometimes some of the institution level placement officers there, so there they need to maintain all the things. And the department should have evidence of students joining higher education program, and they should maintain the copy of the GATE or the GRE scorecards, and even if they're joining for the MS program and all, they should maintain the I-20 letters. And also the department should have evidence of students becoming an entrepreneur. So then what are all the proof they can show? Possibly their visiting cards and the communication from the company's letterhead. So that and all the proof for this. Okay. And you can maintain this table also. If you maintain this table, there you can mention the serial number, the name of student placed, their enrollment number, the name of the employer, then the appointment letter, and the reference number with the date. Like that, you can maintain. This is the left to the departments. They can compose the table however they wish. Some people, they may also place one more column over here for the higher education also, and they are going to be maintaining in the same table. That is the left to the college and the department, how they are going to be taking the call. And this is the example for the placement statistics. If you see this, there were total number of students in the final year. There were only 54 students were successfully entered, 54, 51, and 57. So again, this number they are going to be comparing with the first table also. So this is very, very important how the students were moving from year to year. That number they are going to be matching with this. So here the 54, 51, and 57, here the number of students placed in the companies or the government sector, there were 30 out of 54, there were 39 students were got placed, and 3 of them went for the higher studies. And there is no entrepreneur from last 3 years. We haven't got even a single entrepreneur. So then this become 39 plus 3 become the 42. And if you do the calculation, this number divided by this 54, then we are getting the placement index as this 0.77. Finally, to get to know the average placement, then we need to add this P1 plus P2 plus P3. If you add all the three and divided by 3, you will get the placement, the average placement information. And in order to know the calculation, then what you need to do, that is 40 into average. If you do that, then you will get the assessment point, and you will get to know that how much as a point you may get during the accreditation. Then the last subsection of this criteria 4 is the 4.6, that is the professional activities. This is very, very important, professional activities. Because how well you are going to be encouraging the students to do this professional activities. So there are again subsection under this professional activities like 4.61, 4.6.2, and 4.6.3. The 4.61 is the professional society or the chapters and the organizing engineering events. The department shall provide the relevant details in this case. Then what is it? Actually, this is about this is the college level event we are going to be conducting. This is the within the college what event we are going to be conducting. It may be institute level or the state level or the national level or the international level. What kind of event we are conducting is very, very important with respect to this. Here, how they are going to be evaluating for this 5 marks. Again, the total professional activity is 20 marks. That one they are subdivided into 3 is 5, 5, and 10. And these 5 marks, how they are going to be evaluating. This is based on the ability and the activities of professional societies and the chapters. For that, they will give 3 marks. And the number of quality of engineering events organized at institute, so that is for 2 marks. So totally it is for 5 marks. It may be a institute level, state level, or the national level, or the international level. Right? Then similarly, if we talk about the publications of technical magazines, newsletter, and all, again here also the quality and relevance of the content and the print material, they are going to be see that again here the department has to be give the information. And here and if you say that, and one more is that is the quality and relevance of the content and the printed material, they will give for 3 marks. And similarly, the participation of students from the program, for that they will get the 2 marks, because here the newsletter only student has to be prepared, and you should involve the students to prepare the newsletter, and the mentor should be any one of the faculties of that particular department. Then the assessment based on the documentary evidence, and the documentary evidence should be the student participation must be there in that, as I said. And at the same time, when they are interacting with the committee members, committee MBA committee members, if they are going and speaking with the student, and even they should say same answer even for them also. Because if they are saying that we are not involving any newsletter preparation, and we are not part of any publication of technical magazines, then then which will go to the wrong interpretation for them. Okay, so you should careful enough when you are doing such things. If not, you should say we are not doing those things. If you're genuinely doing, then you should project it properly, and as the even students should convey the same information at the same time. And also one more thing I will tell you all is each and every institution should facilitates the creation of student chapters of professional societies. It is very, very important. There may be different societies where there may be ISA society with the frequency club. So there are many more are there, but you should encourage the students to develop and create the different chapters under the different professional societies. And it should administratively and financially supports the activities of such students chapters by the institutions. Okay, and also the engineering activities under these student chapters can include expert lectures and quiz projects and competitions. If you do frequently, even students were happy to make some progression of that particular chapter or the society profession. Otherwise, if you're not conduct any guest lectures, or if you're not encouraging students to do some project competition under it, or if you're not conducting any quiz, definitely they won't find any interest in that professional bodies. Okay, so here the teachers' roles were very, very important. How best you are going to be encouraging the students to carry forward such professional bodies. So that's why I'm requesting all the faculties, try to encourage your students with respect to your domain. For example, if you are under electronics background, so try to drag the students in the first year itself to get the knowledge of electronics and to get the interest on that particular domain. Encouraging them to do a small project, conduct a 3 days event, and that 3 days please let off all the classes and the lab. From the morning to evening, they should play with the raw components, like all the passive components and the active components, and they need to play with around, and you need to so there you should make some innovative teaching like think, pair and share. That is a very good methodology, that is think, pair, TPS, called think, pair and share, and it is more popular innovative method. IIT Bombay, they come across with this methodology. Think, pair, share means first you should give a time for them to think, and they are going to be there. Then you need to pair two students in that group, and they are going to be finally they are going to be sharing their knowledge among all their friends and that particular batch. Then like that, if you do that, at the end of the third day they should make some small robot, correct, right? The remote control car designing, or some other small cells circuitry, household application circuitry. If they capable to do that, they may get some confidence in it. Okay, and also I'm requesting you all to place some design thinking lab aspects. Say design thinking, nowadays the student don't have some design thinking capability. If you conduct some event under this professional bodies, like design, how to do the project, in order to develop that particular project, how they can use the design thinking concept. If you see that there are 5-step methodologies where in design thinking, if you say that if their first step is empathy phase, nowadays students, they doesn't empathize anything straight away. they will start and doing the project, whether which will be useful for the society or not, they will least bother about. Even sometimes faculties also encouraging such projects. So that time NBA committee, they will say directly, it is a not the problem of student, it is a problem of the teachers. We shouldn't allow that extent to extend for them to say such kind of things. So instead of that, if you encourage them to do any project in line with the design thinking, means their first step is empathizing, defining. So there they need to define, and then they need to ideate. For that particular ideating, they need to make a prototype. After more making the prototype, they should in a position to test. But there the important phase, first phase, is empathy phase. In the empathy phase, they go and meet the people around us. They will find what is their needs and what are the target groups, what their insight. They will find out all those things, and finally they will get to know that what kind of solution I need to give for society. Then my project will be useful for them. They will get to know that, and based on that, they will make use of it. And at the end, what we need to do, the department should encourage the students to bring out a technical newsletter, right? And we should involve the students for writing the technical newsletters. There you have to make a 4 in a group in each and every batch. So they are the responsible for putting all whatever the activities happening across your department. They should create the newsletter. So their department and the department from the department, you should release annual magazines. Okay, they normally brought out at the institution level, right? And then there is that's what I told, the editorial team for this newsletter must consist of students only. And also the faculty member can act as a mentor, and even the mentor could be an head of the department also. And this should be periodically, maybe twice a semester should happen. Okay. And also the last one, the practices in inter-institution event by the students of the program of that study. So there, yeah, the institute must administratively and financially support the students participation in inter-institute activities like conferences, workshops, and the competitions. Okay. Then the institute must encourage through appropriate policy measures and students to publish paper. And one thing I will tell you all, the nowadays we are not at all encouraging the students to read the technical articles or the papers. I'm requesting you all to encourage the students in the third year or the second year or the third year itself, to try to give them some technical papers and tell them to read and tell them to write some inference out of it. And if there, one thing is they are going to be developing the knowledge of how to read the technical paper, one thing. Secondly, they will get to know that how to write the inference of it, and they will get to know that how to write the documents. By the end of the fourth, once they are entering the fourth year, they are capable enough to write their own report. Nowadays, students are unable to write their own report. If we say is that tell them to write a report, they will come up with 10 to 20 pages, like a synopsis. Right? And even they will get to know that what should be there in the abstract, what should be there in the introduction, what should be there in the methodology. And if you're not encouraging them like this, then for them it is quite difficulty to write the what is objectives and what is methodology and all. And so that's why I'm requesting you all to encourage them in the third semester or the fourth semester level itself to giving some assignment marks with respect to that, because we all know that without any credential they won't do anything. So just try to inline this with the assignment and the self-study. Probably they were very happy to do these things. Probably it may useful for them to write the technical papers, and they will get some confidence out of it. Okay. So this is all about the criteria 4. So now time to ask question. If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, now we can open the session for the queries. Sir, you have winded your session? Do you have winded your session?
Yeah, they can ask question. They can ask question, the one which related. If I will show you some the best teaching learning practices if they wanted. So right now I will take the questions from them.
Okay. So any
With
participant,
respect to
if
the
you have
criteria for, so
any participant, if you have any queries, you can ask directly to sir.
Good morning, sir. Hello.
yes, good morning.
Sir, I am interested to know when we are preparing for the placement data.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir. Good.
When you are preparing for the internship data and
Okay.
placement data, sometime
Okay.
companies used to take a student as an intern and then they place after 1 year. After 1 year, after 6 months. So where to push that information actually in the internship column or in a placement column?
Very good question. See, what we need to do here is the first and foremost is first you need to collect the internship internship offer letters. Okay, so there, if they provide that, they are going to be confirming them, or they are going to be turning out them as a permanent employee. They should mention in the offer letter. If so, then you should put them their count in the placement. If not, you should specify them in the internship column only. But you are not supposed to place them in the placement column. That is the one thing. Second one, you said that, sir, after a year, they are going to be confirming them. If they are given letter well in advance, if they are mentioning in the internship letter itself, then you have a provision to place in the placement data. If not, you are not supposed to place in the placement. And one more thing, for example, if the students were passed out in the year of 2020 and their graduation year is 2020, but after that, in the off campus, after a year, they are going to be placing in any of other companies. That time you are not supposed to mention their name, and you shouldn't consider them for the final count of the placement. Remember that. Once they are till the completion of graduation, when they are within the 4 year, when they are in the campus, that time if they place, then only you supposed to place their count. After the graduation, once they go out of the college, after 3 months, you have a provision. Till 3 months, you have a provision to mention them. After the 3 months, if they got placed, then you are not supposed to mention their number in the placement. But internship is different, placement is different. But in the internship letter, if they mentioning that, in the internship, so in the internship, if they mention that they are going to be confirming, so then you're supposed to place their number in the placement count. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Sir, one more from my side.
Yes.
Hello. What about the higher education? What is
tell me, sir.
What is the time? What is the time slab to push the info in the higher education slab?
Sir, in higher education, what you need to do? Yes. What you need to do in higher education, again, same mistake people used to do. What you can do, you during the 4 years tenure, maybe in the final year, they are going to be clearing the GATE or the GRE. Okay. So those students may opt in future the higher studies, and you should take a letter from them. I and so clear the GATE or GRE examination. I wish to go for higher studies, and they need to put a signature on that, and they need to take the HOD signature, and that become the proof, and that student will comes under the higher studies. But after 4 years, if the students clear the GATE or the GRE, that information you are not supposed to. But for the alumni information, for the alumnus information, you can place that how many students from your program they went for higher studies and all. That could be useful for NAAC data. not for NBA. NBA will comes for only for that particular academic. I mean that particular tenure. In case of NAC and all, obviously after they may ask that out of 50 students, you may say that 40 students. For example, if you take 50 students, in 50 students, 30 students got placed and 10 students went for higher studies. What about another 10 students? But that 10 students, 30 plus 10, 40. Okay, there is a data. What about other 10 students? That other 10 students were not placed in the 4 years tenure, and even they haven't give the information they are going for the higher studies, but the people will ask where they are right now. So for that information you can collect and you can place somewhere, whether they went for higher studies, whether they got offer in any of the companies like that. That data is useful for the NAC. Is this I cleared your doubt?
Yes, sir. Yeah, cleared, sir. Sir, if entrepreneurship is taken care by the student after 1 year or 2 years of engineering college.
Yes. You should. Why? Because that, we can. The entrepreneurship, we have a time, because immediately when they are in the college, that time they can't able to do, right? Okay. Entrepreneurship you can take.
Okay, sir.
Entrepreneurship you can take, and you can showcase that till 1 year of time. You can showcase that
till 1 year of time. So for placement, I have 3 months time. For entrepreneurship, I have 1 year time. And for the higher education, I haven't any time. Actually, till the 4th year, I can only collect the data. Okay, it's a
sir. Otherwise, what happen? After 2 years, probably somehow one another place they are going to be placing, or somehow they are going for higher studies. So that time that become 100%. Then what is the benefit of doing these things? Correct? No.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you very much.
Down the length of after completion of their graduation within 2 years. Yeah, clear, right?
Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other doubts? Yeah.
Sir, I can see one question in the chat box also.
Okay. What is that? What is the question?
Wait, sir. What is N3 in slide 5?
N3, 1 minute. Slide 5, right?
Right, sir. Right.
See, N3 called supernumerary quota, which is there in the Karnataka. See, if they are below poverty, so that time of for the 3 students, if they are the economically poor, right? So they are giving the 3 seats based on their okay. This is a quota for the students. They will give 3 seats for out of 60 students. 6 students they will give 3. For students they will give 6. Is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes, sir. He has sent a message. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other doubts? Any other queries? Okay. Any other queries?
Sir, for placement data collection, if we not able to collect the joining data from the student, then we can use their identity card as a proof for that.
ID card of the company ID card. That's what we are telling. If you have card, it is more authentic, because of
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hello. You are not supposed to use the college identity card. You are supposed to use the company ID card. Then that is more authenticate than the offer letter.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir,
one more company ID card, definitely you can showcase.
Sir, one more question in line of this. We can hello, sir.
Okay.
One question.
Tell me, sir.
One more question.
Tell me, sir.
Whether
Okay.
I can collect, I can consider the data from the mail.
Yeah. Tell me, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm posting the question, sir. Whether I can take a data from the mail post by the company that for below student has been selected. If for whatsoever reason the students are not able to put their their forms to us, their application forms to us, or their other selection details to us, and company has posted a mail that following student has been selected from your college in our company. Whether it is the valid data or if we need some credential of some students as well, offer letter or
No, sir. See, the mail if they, yeah, sir. The mail means they should send through their company mail ID, and
that's
also at the end, the company signature must be there. Company signature must be there at the end. So then it is a valid, not a problem.
okay. Company signature. Okay, I will.
Company signature must be there at the end. I mean, yeah, I'm so and so, this so and so company, and the mail ID should be company name. The mail ID must contain company name. It shouldn't have @Gmail, not like that, @Robert Bosch, like that it should be.
Okay, got it.
Intel.co.in, it should be like that. After the @, the company data information should be there.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the thing is that if somebody has sent from @ Gmail, I need to take the offer letter as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your patience, sir.
You are not supposed to take. Yeah, because how do they know that you people may be created by yourself and you may place that content? So they will think like that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. These are my genuine queries when I'm preparing those things for my college. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Apart from that, any other doubts with respect to the data? One which I said, with backlog, without backlog, the second year progression, third year progression.
Any more doubts?
And one more thing I will tell you all, see, you should be good enough in the teaching learning process. Then only you can able to improve some progression in this criteria 4. If you're not doing anything innovatively, definitely student, you can't able to find the good progression in the student performance. And also which will affect the enrollment ratio also, because the students will go and tell that same thing to the outside, and probably if the teaching and learning process is not good in that particular institution, obviously the enrollment ratio automatically gets down. If that itself gets down, obviously you may think that if the education quality is not good, then we won't find the good quality of students in the institution. So it will impact in many ways. So that's why teaching learning process should be good in all the colleges. That's why you should inculcate the very good teaching practices by adopting the metacognitive or the hybrid or the flipped teaching learning processes. Yeah.
So that's all, sir.
Yeah, if I have time, because the teaching learning process, if I take up, it will take another half an hour. Do you have, how many minutes I'm having still?
Sir, you have still 15 minutes. You can
how many you want more? Yeah, so I will show you some the teaching learning process. So that could be helpful. How you can create your own websites, probably which may helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. True. So within 15 minutes, I will show you that how best you can improve the teaching learning processes to improve the student progression of the. Yeah, one thing I will tell you that you all has to maintain these. This is called an Google Sites. Here, no need to know the HTML, CSS, and JavaScripting. If you know how to do the cut and paste, you can create your own website. If I get one more session, definitely I can teach you all. We need a 1 day of time, and you can create your own website. And you can share this website with your students that saying, ki, I have my own website, please go through that. See, for me, I have created many courses website for subject. I will create the website like this, and I will lecture material into it. So there it will helpful for the homogeneous student. We all know that in a class there may be difference of students where are the fast learners, some are the average, some are the poor in learning. So some students, they may the time, right? If you place our own recorded video, that may sounds good, and in an socially also you can connect, and through web also you can connect the students. This is called the way of flipping the class, or we can say this is the metacognitive teaching learning process. And there the before entering to, probably if you are taking the classes for the first time, that particular students, so you need to place your information over there, and they will get to know that there no need to spend your time to talking about you. And also, if the students were interested in that particular area, definitely they will come back to you, and they may seeking help from you. And also, yeah, you can place the about the course also. They will get to know that if I read that particular course, what could be the use. And one more thing I will tell you all, that this is the reference proof for the NBA committee. At that time, no need to create the hard copy or the hard copy of file to show copy only, all the things. Okay, there you are going to be placing about introduction about the subject, and see the what is the how many credit subject here, how many credit subject it is, what is the course code, and the title, which semester it is, academic year, what is the prerequisite, what is the course learning objective. Because the student must know this. If committee comes, have you know or have you know course outcome objectives, if they say no, definitely it is a bad impression. And mention some course outcome also. So in the course outcome also, you should always mention some Bloom's taxonomy words: understanding, remember, apply, analysis, evaluate, design. Definitely we can't able to achieve. The last one is called create. Create probably we can place for the projects. And what are all the reference books they need to go through, and how we are going to be evaluating CIE, how we are going to be evaluating SCE, and for quiz and test, how many percentage we are asking from each and every course objectives, we can mention that. And I should mention that lesson plan, while placing the lesson plan, you should be careful enough. And whatever the data you are mentioning here, whatever the in the class, whatever you are covering, it should be matched, and which Bloom's level it is going to be matching, which COs it is matching, that and all you should place. And this is very, very important, where you can improve the pass percentage of the students. This is how you can improve the pass percentage. So you can improve the criteria 4 by providing the better teaching learning process. So there, if you give the repetitive teaching, see this and all my recorded videos. And even for the each and every recorded, if you type in the YouTube Kendagana Swami, my recorded videos were available for many of the subjects. And then student can find my lecture 24/7. So that is an added advantage. Automatically passing percentage get improves, and you can reduce the failure. Okay, automatically, just now I showcased that if the F percentage reduces, means without backlog points get increases. And this is the lecture videos, and then this here you will get the lecture notes also. Students will get the lecture notes. Some students will prefer the lecture notes, some students will prefer the lecture videos. And if you talk about the lab also, you should place all the lab informations, whether it's do's and don'ts, and general guidelines, how you are going to be evaluating, because students must know that how you are going to be evaluating. If you give 30 marks, how, on what basis you given 30, so probably 24, 25, and what grading the marks, that they should know that. And even see here, each and every the program I have explained and I have placed on the on this platform. No need ahead to explain each and every batch. This is one-time effort. The next time, apart from that 30 programs, I can teach them some other programs also. These are all the programs one which they're in the syllabus. So this is the one-time effort. If you record it and if you place, so then you can give extra effort for the some small project, or we can say open-ended experiments. See, try to add some open-ended experiments in your syllabus. Okay, so then you can create your own games like a Jeopardy game. If you play such games probably in a semester, sometime due to some situation, some circumstance, if you're not prepared for the class, and you can play one game with the students in a class, there were two rows of students. If you play that, it is other way of round. You need to place the answer. With respect to that answer, they are going to be framing the question. So there they will get to know that the concept will be more clear, and they will get to know that what is the pain of creating the question. And they can play for anything. They can play with architecture wing, they can play with hardware wing, they can play with software wing, they can play with programming wing, and they can play with application wing. If they want to play with 100 points, if you click that, it will show that the complex instruction set computer. So this is the answer. So for that, if you they need to frame the question. So that time, what does this stands for? This is other way round of teaching. So we need to provide answer. For that particular answer, they need to frame a question. If they say right answer, we need to increase their 100 points. If they say wrong answer, then we need to reduce 100 points to them. Okay, so like that, once they play with 100 points, automatically that 100 points disappears. Then they can play with the remaining points. See, like that, you can engage the students and you can create the interest on your class. Then definitely they will come and do many things. And similarly, some of the best practices you need to place always means it's like, see, there is an EdTED. I think you all know that TED videos, and even they come up with the EdTED website for the education with the video. After watching your video, they are capable enough to answer your quizzes. Correct. So the thing is, I will show you that. See here, you need to place the video. Okay, so corresponding to that video, you need to place the quiz question. See, this is the video. Your video, they will watch the video. This is kind of a self test. So then they will click think. As soon as they click think, see, there are quiz questions. So they will read the transistor introduced in the era of. So if they click knowingly or unknowingly wrong question, and they will ask the name also. So one way is you will get to know that how many students were seeing your video, as well how many students were attempted the quiz. You will get to know that easily. So if the student taken B answer, and if the student clicks save, that time says that our answer is wrong. We all know that nowadays students were lazy enough to watch the video once again. So instead of that, what you can do in the question itself, you can embed the video. So for that particular question, where exactly the answer in that video, if you click this video hint, automatically it will go to that particular point. See, if you click, immediately it will go to 1 minute 57 seconds. That answer is there. So then they will see that. Then they are clicking the try again. Then they will select the particular answer. See here, it says that transit introduced in the year. So 1947, then they should click save answer. So then they're getting the right answer. So like that, they will get, you can create interest on them, at least to experiment that they will go and they will learn something. And one more thing, after completion of your class, every day, try to launch some quiz questions. Yeah, yes, if you do 1 hour lecture, create 10 questions. Probably out of 10 questions, 2 questions, many of the students made wrong, means that concepts, you are not clear them properly. Next day class, you go and teach them once again that concept. So that time the students will get to know the concept properly, and which will leads to better performance, student performance in the examination. And even you can place their CAE marks and attendance in your website itself. So that time, no need to spend your time to tell them their marks and the attendance. They can go directly to your website and they will see that. So like that, not only this subject, like other subject also you can do like that. So each and every course you create your own website. So that time the students were more curious on your classes, and they are urged to attend your classes also. So this is the other way of improving the criteria 3 by improving the student progression. By improving their conceptual skill and their understanding, you can possible to improve the result, okay, with respect to the criteria 4, because ultimately the result depends on the faculties, how best we are delivering the content. Okay. So my end, that's it. This is all about the best teaching learning practices. Yeah, if you have any other queries with respect to criteria 4, please feel free, and with respect to the innovative teaching one which I shown just now. If everything okay, we will wind up the session. Sachidanand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any questions?
Sir, we are okay with no, we will get connected as we work. We work on these things, and I just want to connect with you as per requirement. I will just mail you up. Right now, I am satisfied, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I see the designing websites and all could be more impact for the faculties. They can say proudly, I have my own website to place my own content. Because how best you are reaching social media is very, very important. You know that nowadays.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Over
So I
to you,
hope
sir.
I have conveyed the information with respect to the criteria 4, and to improve that, how best you can improve the teaching learning. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the session, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Shall I wind up?
Yes, sir. We can wind up now. Sir,
Okay, thank you.
so much. Sir, thank you so much, sir, for this informative session. And actually, we are looking forward for more sessions like this with you, because as a college, we are preparing for this SAR, and we will be applying in September. So if you'll have any doubt or for any session, we'll always look forward for your support, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.